us going whenever you're ready.
All right. Good morning. Thank you for joining us for this week's Messiah Minutes. As always, like this, share this, get it out. We appreciate that. Thank you for all the compliments. I know Ben's been doing the lion's share of the work on these things, and you guys seem to appreciate that. You're tired of me, and I understand. I'm tired of me too. But anyways, thanks for watching. Let's get into some announcements before we get started here. Today, we have our Next Gen Youth Gathering at 6. Thank you those who have signed up for meals. We still need some help. I think we have this week, next week, and then I think we're done for meals as far as sign up goes. So please get involved. I have had some people that have given money for that, and we will supplement those meals when they're not signed up. But if you can, volunteer that way. It's great. The kids love it. Also, just come and hang out with us, fellowship with us. If you're not doing that, come and fellowship with the church. Tonight we have the adult midweek service. Ben is going to be leading that tonight and next week while Ed is gone. So come out tonight at 6:30 for that. Sunday, our normal schedule, we have Sunday school 9:15 and 9:30, and then our normal service at 10:30. Things coming up. The third annual BFCOG Classic Car and Truck Show is coming up Saturday, September 12th. Remember, the registration from that is 10 to noon, and then at 3 o'clock they will give the trophies and announce the winners on that stuff. The Blessing of the Backpacks is coming up at the end of this month. It's going to be a family Sunday. We're going to bless all the people that are going back to school. We're going to pray over them. We're going to have lunch afterwards, too, in the gym. So come hang out with us for that Sunday and get some food. And then, let's see, Majesty Quartet concert is September 26th. We're going to get some more details out about that. Chris Blue concert is October 13th. More details coming on that. And then Trunk or Treat is scheduled for Thursday, October 29th from 5:30 to 7:30. So we got a lot of things going on, a lot of things coming up that you can get involved with. So we just, we just want to see you involved and here, and just a time to fellowship together as the body. So Ben, thank you. Thank you for joining us again. It's always appreciated. We're going to continue a meeting with Ben, talking about just the sermon series you're leading us through in Acts. So again, brother, thank you. I know you're moved in, you're busy at the house, and you're very busy, but I appreciate you taking time. And I know a lot of people have said a lot of good things about you taking time just to join us on this. So thank you. Sunday sermon. We talked on Acts 9, the calling of Saul. I think that really struck a chord with a lot of people, and it kind of left us with a lot to process, right? So I want to just sit with you today, maybe dig into a few of those points with you, talk about what this actually means for us as a church body moving forward. So you open for that? Just chat a little bit about your sermon?
Absolutely.
Good. You mentioned in your sermon that Saul was probably the last person that anyone expected God to use. He wasn't looking for God. He was actually actively against God, trying to stop the church. You said that we should never, ever write someone off whom God is writing into his story. And I thought that was pretty powerful, the way you phrased that. I like that. But honestly, I think that's easy to say, but it's kind of hard to live out in a real world church. So how do we as a church get better at spotting potential leaders who maybe don't look the part, maybe have a messy past, and they don't fit the traditional church mold?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if they don't know Christ at all, we have no idea what somebody's potential is until they meet Christ. So if that's step number one, and that should always be our desire, is that if we encounter anyone who doesn't know Christ, first thing is we want to share the message of Christ with them, the salvation message. And then there it's really just praying for them and asking the Lord, show me, Lord, what you see in them. And now, the human side of us, all we can see a lot of the times is the physical. And it's easy to get bogged down, distracted, frustrated with what's going on in the physical. But there's something that I think it's important to remember. The spiritual always affects the physical. So you get the spiritual right in someone's life, then the physical will catch up. As the spiritual, as God changes their heart, then you'll begin to see that in their outward expression. So the first step is leading them to Christ. And then step two is then coming alongside of them and investing in them, praying for them, discipling them, and then asking God, show me what you see in them. Because even new Christians, sometimes you're like, I don't know. It's a little rough sometimes.
That's fair. I think, man,
but God,
that's awesome.
who knows what God's going to do?
Yeah, we don't know until they're Holy Spirit filled and saved. We don't really know their true potential. So that's awesome. It makes me think a little bit about Saul and Saul's timeline. Right after that crazy encounter on the road, we noticed that Paul didn't immediately just jump onto a stage and start preaching. He spent time in the quiet, learning about who Jesus was, spending time with him. And that kind of leads right to the next thing you talked about in your sermon. I think it's really busy. It's really easy to let the busyness of ministry kind of replace your real relationship and authentic relationship with God. So that next point you made really hit home for me. You said that ministry can never be a substitute for walking closely with Jesus. It has to be out of the overflow of that relationship. So you reminded us that before Saul ever got on a platform to preach, he was just called to sit in the quiet to know Christ. And I know as a pastor, your job is incredibly public. And the pressure to perform and run an organization is always there. So I guess my question to you is, how do you personally kind of protect your private time with God so that your ministry stays out of that overflow that you talked about rather than just a job that you're trying to get done?
Yeah. So two important things. One, what I do, what you all see on Sunday mornings, is separate. The time I set aside to prepare for those messages is separate from the time I set aside with the Lord personally. Because when I'm preparing a message, I am preparing to feed God's church. But when I'm with the Lord personally, I am studying, I am reading, I am learning to feed my own soul. And so they're very different. Well, they're very different, but yet they're kind of the same. But anyway, I guess the difference would be intention. When I am, in the morning, when I get up, that's the first thing I'm doing is I'm spending about 30 minutes or longer with the Lord. And the intention in that moment is, Lord, feed me. And then on Thursdays, when I prepare to preach to the congregation, it's, Lord, feed your people. So the intention is different. And I can always tell if my 30 or so minutes in the morning has been off a couple of days, I can always tell when I get to Thursday. As I'm saying, Lord, help me feed your people. And he's saying, well, you haven't fed yourself here in a couple of days, So, it's vitally important, no matter what capacity. If you're simply, and I don't say simply as in not important, but if you're simply teaching children, in the church, you cannot do that effectively without a personal time with the Lord daily. And because it flows from the overflow. I think there's a gospel song that says, I'm drinking from my saucer because my cup is overflowed. So that's really where ministry takes place, is from that saucer, because the cup is overflowed. So
I think that's good. Be intentional. I mean, that's what I got from that. Is you have to be intentional with your time and schedule that time. If you don't have time with the Lord, schedule it. That's a challenge, I think, for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
I think we look at Saul's story, and God didn't just deal with Saul on that. You brought up Ananias. You brought up this just regular guy and told him, hey, you know what? It's time for you to step up too. So you made the point that in the sermon that every Paul needs an Ananias. So let's kind of talk about the people sitting in the rows on Sunday. I loved what you said about Ananias, that he stepped up to guide Paul when he was blind and vulnerable, and he was hesitant at first, right?
I would be too.
Right? But you said that every Paul needs an Ananias, and I started thinking about that. I think there's a lot of people that sit in our church on Sunday and maybe feel like, I know I did, and I speak for myself, before God called me into ministry and that work, is I feel like I didn't know enough, and I'm not holy enough to disciple someone else or to help somebody else. So how do we help, like, the average person sitting at the Bell Fountain First Church of God or any church realize that they don't need a theology degree to kind of invest in someone? What holds us back from being that Ananias?
Well, when it comes to a Paul and Ananias relationship, first of all, if someone voices, they're called to some type of ministry, the first thing an Ananias type can do is celebrate it, praise God for it. That would be number one. Maybe affirm that call in that person's life. But that would be step number one. And then secondly, if that individual, invites you into their life and there's a friendship that occurs there, then you can take the time to invest further and disciple them, encourage them. I know when I first started in ministry, I just needed, there were a few people that challenged me, but I had a lot of people that just encouraged me to keep moving forward. And a lot of times that's what we all need, is just some strong encouragement to keep moving forward. And so you don't have to have a theology degree to do that. You don't have to have a theology degree to celebrate someone's call and to encourage them in their call. That's not necessary. So as far as having some type of degree, so just simply encouraging, and then if that person invites you into their life, then discipling them and challenging them.
Yeah, that's good. If you don't know, Pastor Ben sends us out a recap email of his sermon to all the staff here at the church, which is awesome for especially for those of us who can't be in there because we're doing other ministry things. I appreciate that. But you kind of closed it out this week with a beautiful prayer for our church, that we'd be a place where people hear God's voice, obey it, and get equipped to do what He's called them to do. Yeah. So thank you. I think that's encouraging. We can tell with your messages that that's what you're about, is just working on that relationship and getting us equipped to heed that call. So thank you for that. Pastor, again, I appreciate your time for kind of pulling back the curtain a little bit on these messages. It's been enlightening to me, and I know a lot of people have enjoyed it. If you're listening or following along, something in Sunday's message kind of stirred something in you, whether you feel a tug to a new ministry, or maybe you realize God is calling you to be an Ananias in someone's life. We're asking you not to sit on that. Act on that. Absolutely. Reach out to the church, reach out to either of us, anybody in the church, and help us. We want to walk with you on that. We want to walk together with you. So again, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you all. We hope to see you sometime this week at one of our events. Have a great day.